One game, one single game. That's all it took to end a man's World Cup career. Stop scrolling for a second, and because what happened 5 days into this tournament has never happened before. Not once, not in 96 years of World Cup history. No nation has ever done what Tunisia just did. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why, and trust me, the reason is way messier than you think. If you think this was some emotional, knee-jerk decision after one bad night, stick around. What was happening behind that dressing room door before a ball was even kicked is wild. Let's rewind to Sunday night. Estadio Monterrey, Mexico. Tunisia's World Cup opener against Sweden. It was a massacre. Final score, Sweden 5, Tunisia 1. Alexander Isak got on the score sheet. So did Victor Gyökeres. So did Matthias Svanberg. Sweden's attack carved through Tunisia's, like there was no defense out there at all. One of the most lopsided results in the country's World Cup history. But here's the twist of the knife. One of the players who scored a brace for Sweden was Yasin Ayari, whose own father was born in Tunisia. A son of Tunisian heritage put 2 goals past the country his father came from. You couldn't script a more brutal opening night. Afterward, head coach Sabri Lamouchi stood in front of the cameras and called it painful. Said the team was shooting itself in the foot. He had no idea how right he was, because 24 hours later, he was gone. Now, here's where most people would say, okay, panic move, one bad result, knee-jerk reaction, and I get it. That's what it looks like on the surface, but you're about to see why that's completely wrong. On paper, firing a coach after one World Cup match looks like panic. Madness even, but pull back the curtain and Lamouchi was already a dead man walking before he ever landed in Mexico. The results were already a disaster. In his entire spell in charge, Lamouchi won exactly 1 game out of 5, a narrow 1-0 win over Haiti. That's the entire resume. The warm-ups were worse. Tunisia lost 1-0 to Austria, then got blown out 5-0 by Belgium right before the tournament. 2 warm-up games. 0 goals scored. 6 conceded. The whispers of unrest inside the camp started right there, and the dressing room was already cracking. Watch the Sweden match closely. In the 72nd minute, with Tunisia getting dismantled, Lamouchi subbed off defender Jan Valeri. Valeri didn't hide his reaction. He walked off the pitch visibly furious at his own coach, live, in front of the world. When your own player is fuming at you on camera mid-World Cup, that relationship is already over. Then there's the detail that really shows how far this had gone. Reports out of the camp say Lamouchi brought his own son into Tunisia's training base during World Cup prep, someone with no official role in the delegation. The federation reportedly demanded an explanation. Think about that. Before a single ball was kicked at this World Cup, the manager and the people who hired him were already in a trust standoff. Players turning, federation suspicious, results collapsing. The Sweden game didn't cause the sacking. It just lit the fuse on a bomb that was already armed. And what happened next? Tunisia didn't just fire a coach, they made World Cup history, literally. Keep watching, because this next part has never happened in 96 years. Here's where it gets historic, for all the wrong reasons. In the entire 96-year history of the World Cup, no manager had ever been sacked after just 1 game of the tournament. Coaches have been fired during World Cups before, sure, but never this fast. In 1998, Tunisia fired Henrik Kasperczak, but gave him 2 games first. That same tournament, South Korea dumped Chabum Kun after 2 defeats. In 2018, Spain famously sacked Julen Lopetegui 2 days before the World Cup even started, after he secretly agreed to join Real Madrid, but mid-tournament after just 1 match. Never until now, and this isn't even Tunisia's first sacking this year. Back in January, they fired Sami Trabelsi after crashing out of the Africa Cup of Nations to Mali. Lamouchi was brought in to replace him, signed a contract through 2028. He lasted 5 months. This federation does not blink, real quick. If this kind of behind-the-scenes football chaos is your thing, hit subscribe now because we're about to get into the guy they brought in to fix this mess. And his backstory is even crazier than the firing. Okay, let's go. So who do you call to put out a 5-alarm fire in the middle of a World Cup? Tunisia went and got one of the most fascinating characters in world football, Hervé Renard. If the name doesn't ring a bell, the look will, the silver-haired Frenchman famous for prowling the touchline in a crisp white shirt. And he's making history of his own here. This is now his 3rd straight World Cup with a 3rd different country. Morocco in 2018, Saudi Arabia in 2022, Tunisia in 2026. That Saudi Arabia run is the one that should make you sit up. In 2022, Renard's Saudi side pulled off one of the biggest shocks in World Cup history, beating Lionel Messi's eventual champion, Argentina, in their opening game. So if anyone on the planet knows how to walk into chaos and pull off a miracle, it's him. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. He's flying into Monterrey to take over a wounded squad with almost no time to prepare. Wabi Kazri, the former Sunderland man who was Lamouchi's assistant, is staying on to help the transition. The problem? Tunisia's group is brutal. Up next, Japan, then the Netherlands. Renard has to stop the bleeding immediately against two of the tournament's stronger sides, with a dressing room that just watched its coach get fired in under 24 hours. Good luck. So here's my real question for you. Was this a brave, ruthless call by Tunisia? Or did they just panic and torch their own tournament before it even started? Did the players force this? Was the Federation right to swing the axe this fast? Comment your verdict below. I read every single one, and I want to know if you'd have made the same call if you made it this far. You clearly love this kind of football drama, so do me a favor and hit subscribe. Because we are only 5 days into this World Cup and it is already eating coaches alive. Trust me. This will not be the last one. See you in the next one.